Hi guys, it's Natalie. Today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to write a killer vision statement. If you're the leader of a ministry or organization, it doesn't matter whether you have 2 people or 5,000 people, you need to get them pumped, excited, and motivated about the work that you are doing. And having a vision statement that creates a clear, simple, and compelling picture of how the world is going to look different because of their efforts goes a really long way. So how do you do that? All right, first, step number 1. Before you start writing that vision statement, you don't actually have to know how you are going to accomplish that vision. For instance, President Kennedy, when he said, we are going to get a man to the moon and then back safely, they didn't have the science figured out. They didn't know where the funding was going to come from. They had an idea. They had some strong sense of how they were going to accomplish it, but they didn't have the details figured out. And you really don't either. Same thing when Jesus said, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. And that's an exciting and compelling vision statement, but I don't think that those apostles or disciples thought about the use of video cameras or technology or the kind of things that actually I'm using right now from Southern Oregon, which is pretty much as far to the end of the earth as you can get from Judea and Samaria without swimming around in the Pacific Ocean. You can set a vision and not know the tools or the strategies or the programs or the resources that you're going to need to get there, because you're going to figure it out. When you have a strong vision, when you have people excited, you don't even know what they're capable of dreaming of the ingenuity of the things and the resources that they will find, because they are so motivated to make this thing happen. Number 2, as you're dreaming, you need to set an attainable goal. Now, when I say attainable, this goal also is going to demand every single ounce of your energy, your resources, all the gifts and talents that God has given to not only you, but to your entire team. It can demand everything of you, but it is attainable. An example of a goal that maybe is not attainable for most of us would be to eradicate gravity, which one is probably a terrible idea if you were to actually do that with the earth. I don't know what the consequences of what that would be, but it'd probably be pretty severe. But maybe somebody with the skill, the physics knowledge, the science would be like, we want to eradicate gravity in order to be able to create a certain space station or whatever their idea is. That would be more of an attainable and wise goal to accomplish. So when you are thinking about a ministry goal, what is something that's big and scary and exciting, but attainable? 3, you need to paint a picture of what something looks like. For instance, when Homeboy Industries in their mission statement said that they're reaching out to previously incarcerated men and women in order to provide the resources that they need to become contributing members of society. That contributing members of society paints a clear, compelling, but flexible goal that volunteers and team members and board members can really get behind. You need to make something so clear that even a drunk on the street will be able to say, hey, yeah, I get that. I can see that. I know what that looks like. Make that your goal. Number 4, warning. Brilliant vision statements are really hard to write. It's really interesting how difficult it can be to put something that is simple and clear and concise down on paper in a way that other people can understand it. So give yourself the time. I know that when we were building Ezer, that we took a long time trying to figure out what could be some of our vision statements. And I'll be honest, we're still working on it. We're still giving ourselves the time in order to really build towards this, but we're getting closer and closer and closer. I know for us a really big step forward was finally discerning the praise happy, healthy, holy, and effective. it was something that I know personally that I could get really excited about when I started thinking about you and started thinking about other lay ministers and thinking, what would people who are happy, because I actually think it's important that you're happy, that you're joyful, that's a gift of the Spirit, that you would be healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, that you would be holy, that you would love Jesus, have prayer lives, faithful to the magisterium, and effective, that you would be good at your jobs, which means that you can go out and change the world because of this mission that God has put on your heart. Like, that was something I could get really excited about and start asking those questions. What are some of the resources and tools that we would need to do in order to help people become happy, healthy, holy, and effective? It was also a discernment process for my heart too. Am I happy, healthy, holy, and effective? What do I need to do in order to model that for other people? Again, we're still working on building vision statements because they take a long time and they're not easy to do. Give yourself the time that you need to get it right. Don't settle for an awful vision statement just to get something on paper. It needs to ring true, it needs to be exciting, it needs to be right. Give yourself the time. Tip number 5. Some of you might have heard of the social media site Upworthy. Now, whether you agree with what they do or not, one of the things that they do have is whenever somebody contributes a post or an article, they demand that those contributors write out 24 titles that they're going to select and pick from and continue to hone and perfect, because they're trying to make things go viral. They're trying to get those sound bites that people can really grasp onto. So I would suggest you do the same thing. Go head to a coffee shop, head to an adoration chapel, outside, wherever you get peace and calm and quiet, and write out a minimum of 24 phrases. And you're probably not going to get it even in those 24 phrases, but it's a starting point. It's a place that you can continue going. Select the ones that seem to ring more true. Go to some people, some advisors, talk to them about it. Go back and continue to hone and hone and hone and hone until you start coming up with that phrase, under 20 words long, ideally, that's really going to just get you excited and get your team members, get your donors, get the people that you're reaching out to, get them excited about what you're doing. Frankly, I think what you're doing is worth getting excited about because it comes from God. If you are legitimately following God's call in your life, He's going to call you to great and exciting and beautiful and wonderful things, because that's what He does. And that's worth getting excited about. And if you can find a phrase, if you can find a way to articulate and communicate that to your people, who knows what you're going to be able to accomplish. God's going to change the world through saints, through people who are listening to Him. Maybe that person will be you. I actually hope it is. All right, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. If you have an example of some cool vision statements, would you comment below? Because I know I'm always keeping my eye out, trying to learn from other people who are holier and smarter than me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, in the meantime, like us on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.